With 2 production category wins behind them, Toyota's pairing of APIE REYNEKE and Robin Houghton is the team to beat on the Toyota 1000 Desert Race. The other win in the 3 rounds held so far was taken by the Mitsubishi Pajero team of Neil Woolidge and Paul Vermaak. Randburg rider Darrell Curtis is one of the favourites for the 250 motorcycle 2-wheel honours. There'll be stiff opposition from Honda-mounted Errol Dalton though, and Yamaha's Spencer KRIEL. CHRISTO won the quad title last year and won the first 2 races of the season, as VICUS van Deventer missed the opening round but won round 3 to keep his title hopes alive. A win followed by 2 second places for the Queenstown-based crew of Greg Harvey and Boy Stone has them well placed in the special vehicle category, although they are behind single-seater pilot Richard Carolyn. Class B leaders Billy Bond and Graham Newton have finished well up in each race and are not too far behind the 2 Porsche-powered Class A cars. The other contender is Marius Perrain in his single-seater Mighty Mag, which he took to a special category win at the last round. In the 500cc motorcycle class, there seems to be little opposition for Pinetown's ALFIE Cox, but the experienced Jeremy Davies has been consistent aboard his Honda, and he's waiting for Cox to make a mistake. Cornel de Villiers is the man to watch in the 200cc quad class, but the last 2 races have been won by this man, John Craig Costello. Some mature performances from KTM's Leon Fincham have put him at the top of the 200cc bike points table, despite the similarly mounted Jeffrey Voliter taking the honours at the last race. Since 1993, the event has been based in Botswana and started from its capital city, Gaborone. With me, Off-Road Commission President Bux Carolyn. Bux, why Botswana as a venue?
Well, this is where the event originally started. It used to be called the Trans-Kalahari, and with Toyota's involvement, the biggest deal in the Southern Hemisphere comes from Botswana, and that's why we decided to bring the race here.
And of course, Botswana's abundance of mineral resources ensure that it's one of the wealthiest countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Gaborone is a fast-growing city, and not surprisingly, half of the country's population live in this vibrant city. As was the case last year, race headquarters were at the Grand Palm Hotel and Casino Resort. 11 points separate the top 3 riders in the closely fought 200cc motorcycle class, with the KTM-mounted riders being chased by Kawasaki's Quinton Milton.
I've never done the Toyota 1000 before, so my aim is to finish the race, but when I get to the open up stop tomorrow night, I'll see how I feel and maybe give it all I've got in the last day.
Another rider worth keeping an eye on is Chris Dodd, who has a vast amount of experience.
Been doing all the off-roads this year. It's been going well. I'm back on a 200 as opposed to 250 from 4 years ago. I'm a little bit older, maybe a bit wiser, so maybe I'll take it easy in the beginning, but at least I'm going to get to the finish.
Reigning quad champion CHRISTO leads the over 200cc quad class on his Johannesburg Yamaha Banshee, with Cornel de Villiers heading the 200 class only 3 points adrift.
I think we've learned a lot last year with the Banshee. We've sorted it out, and yeah, the pressure is on, but I think all eyes are on VICUS van Deventer, and that takes the pressure off me, but the pressure's on me on winning the championship, you know, and I'll just take it easy and try and push, you know, just to get to the front or close to the front for the first day at least.
Believe it or not, but there's over 50 horsepower in these twin-cylinder 350cc motors. And someone who knows how to ride those horses, VICUS van Deventer.
Die veteran baie positief benader, baie versigtig ry oor die kundig probeer ry. Volgende maandag vlieg ek Portugal toe om die Telecel te gaan ry in Portugal. So die veteran wil ek net graag klaarmaak, maar ek glo ek sal baie goed doen hier. So dit is my kos hierdie lang afstand, ek hou daarvan.
Consistent performances have taken Yamaha's Spencer KRIEL to the top of the 250 motorcycle points log, but Darrell Curtis is only a sniff behind. Third place, Clayton Enslin, is one of the most dedicated riders around and can't be ruled out.
You know, I think that a finish this weekend will be good for me. I didn't enjoy this ride last year, so if I can just finish in the top 3 250s, I'll be happy.
A mere 3 points separate Toyota's APIE REYNEKE and Robin Houghton from Mitsubishi's Neil Woolwich and Paul Vermaak in the production vehicle race, while Cliff Barker and Hein Latterhan are third for Land Rover.
First, this is a very long event, 1,000 kilometers. You have to keep your car together over the first 700 kilometers, so you can't push it too hard. Normally what we do, we try and keep it together and race it the last 200 kilometers. But on the other hand, this type of terrain suits our vehicle very good, and this is one of my favorite events. I love the terrain here. I farm in similar conditions on my farm, so I'm used to this types of roads. So I favor them about the other roads that we have.
With a new BMW-powered Land Rover waiting in the wings, Cliff Barker was out in the V8 version for the last time.
Well, obviously the last 2 events we've had hell of a good entries, and mostly in production vehicles. You've got 2 sort of major distinctions in production vehicles. The one is the modified side of it, which would be class D and F, D being 4-wheel drive and F being 2-wheel drive, and then E and G. We've had quite an upswing in E since we introduced the diesels. We've got good competition between Land Rover, Mitsubishi, as well as Toyota in E, and then I think in D we've had a few older vehicles that have been revamped now, like Old Fred, which the Comfort brothers are campaigning and rebuilt, and then the Mitsubishi, which unfortunately I believe is not running. They had a problem yesterday with the engine, and they're not running. And then obviously myself and APIE. And Cassie has had a bad start to the season, but I'm almost sure he's going to be there. He was leading the race last year until he hit a cow, and I'm almost sure he's going to be there. I think that car, they persevered with it, and I think it's going to do the thing.
In the open class, ALFIE Cox is leading his old rival Jeremy Davies by 11 points. Cox recently returned to the deserts of North Africa for the Atlas Rally, which took place a couple of weeks before the desert race.
For me it was just a great rally. I lost a bit of time on the second day, but to win 2 of the stages over the rally was a good experience, and to also win from front the one day, from having to lead the race and win that day. And that's what I was aiming to do. 4th on that race, good experience, and I'm hoping to go to Dubai now in November with Cooler Blondes, and then we go to the Dakar, hopefully in '99.
Rival Jeremy Davies is aboard a 600 Honda, and its 4-stroke characteristics are well suited to the endless tracks of soft sand.
I think when you've ridden it a couple of times, you just know what you're in for. You're tired when you get off your first day of 500 k's, and the second day you've just got to have enough strength to push it, because that's where you'll make up the time. If you're running top 5, top 6, and you're strong coming home, you're guaranteed of a good position.
There's not much in it at the top of the Special Vehicle Championship table, and single-seat race co-driver Richard Carolyn is a past winner of this race. Greg Harvey and Boy Stone came close to winning in 1995 and are a single point adrift. John Lambert won here in 1993, but hasn't been seen much yet this season.
93 was a good year for me. We came out, it was the first year, and we had a fantastic race. Off-road racing's in the blood, we come back 5 years later, let's see if we can scoop it again. Marathon races for me are enjoyable, we'll see how we go.